I'm Karin from Beyondo. We work with recruitment for internationals, and on a regular basis I get the question, how do I get a house in Sweden, renting or buying? Today I've invited Olga from EGENBOSTAD, and she's a BuyerSide consultant with a real estate agency background.
Hello, Karin.
Hello.
And thank you for inviting me today.
How's the market in Sweden for buying a house?
The market in Sweden for buying a house is always good, and it's because the renting is so high and there's a lot of need for housing. So in Sweden it works differently than in other countries. Here you want to invest as soon as possible into a property because you know that you will be gaining money back with the years, the prices will go up, and at the same time as you are living in the property, you will be gaining money and you don't have to waste your money on second-hand renting.
Yes.
Exactly.
But what if you come here as an international, you're only going to live here for maybe 1 or 2 years? Is it still better to buy something?
There is a statistic that says that the Swedes usually move every 3 years.
Okay.
So every 3 years you have a profit on your property. And I have an example. There was a couple from Spain. They were supposed to be here 5 years, but they got a really good offer from Spain. They had to leave. I made an evaluation of the property and they had investment of 300,000.
What do you need to be aware of when buying a house in Sweden?
You have to be aware of that it usually goes very quick. Very quick, because from the time that an agent puts out something to sell, say it's on a Thursday or Friday, they will be showing it on a Sunday, and already in the following Friday, that's the goal for them to sell.
Okay.
So it goes quick. So there's a lot of things that we have to study before that. I help my clients to do a budget,
Yes.
so that we know exactly what properties they have access to, the areas, and how much their monthly cost will be.
Okay, so from my experiences, having bought something abroad, it is different in Sweden, because here it's a price and you think that's the price for the house, but that's just a starting price, and then that bid will just go up higher, and you do the bidding process via SMS, for example. So once you go and look for property and you want to buy something, you need to have the financial things in order before you buy. How does that work in Sweden?
Exactly, Karin. And that's why I started with this service as BuyerSide agent. I knew that the buyers have a lot of difficulties already in the very first step. So I have a cooperation agreement with Nordea, where if I usually say if they go through me, they will go through the bank. So we go through the budget, and we have a cooperation where they have to answer within 24 hours.
Okay.
So in 24 hours they have the mortgage, and
which is called lånelöfte.
Lånelöfte,
yes.
Exactly. And it's not just lånelöfte,
okay.
Because many people think that if they just do it on the system of the bank, then they have the promise of the bank. I actually do a definite promise, and that's a big difference. Definite promise is that the bank has already checked the client, so everything is in order, all the papers, everything that they need, and they give me an okay. Once they give me an okay, then the only thing we have to do is, once we find the property, then they will check the association that everything's okay, so everything goes smoothly.
Okay.
And one thing regarding the bidding, that's the thing I always tell also my clients. My clients are experts in what they do. They're engineers or in their career.
Yes.
So how can somebody know how to bid?
Yeah. So you help them throughout the
So I help them. I have the
as well?
experience as a traditional agent.
Yes.
And then I will help them through the whole bidding process too.
Okay.
Before the bidding, it's very important to do an evaluation of each property.
Yes.
Because many people also, I found, they fall in love with the property and they go over the price.
Okay.
And that's, for me,
because there's a lot of emotions.
There's a lot of emotions. So
Yes.
for me, it's important that they buy the right property at the right price.
And at the right time.
At the right time.
Yeah, okay. But how is it then, if you're an international, you come to Sweden, you have secured a job, you have a job contract, and you have maybe, if applicable, a working permit, and you're in Sweden, what else do they then need in order to buy a house in Sweden?
That's a really good question also, because many of the expats have missed out on buying already from step one because they lack the information.
Yes.
So I'm going to explain to you. The only thing you would need as a newcomer is that you have your employer's employment, then that you have your personal numbers, and before signing the contract you should have your ID card.
Okay.
But before having your ID card, the only thing you need is a personal number, the employer's contract, so that we can start with the loan promise.
Okay, so the deposit. Yeah.
Yes.
So deposit is quite high. So, I mean, the more money you bring in, the lower mortgage you need to take, of course. But what if you don't have the security of a deposit that you bring with you? What then?
The regulations from the bank are that you should have at least 15% as down payment, but there are exceptions.
Okay.
And with this cooperation agreement I have, you can come in with just 5% of down payment. Okay. The other 10%, the bank will help you with a private loan. Okay. So of course, that I look into it, because say you have a very good income but you have a little down payment, that means that we will have to look at the monthly cost instead.
Okay.
So I ask my clients how I turn it around. Okay. What would you like as a monthly cost? Because otherwise you will have to amortize a lot.
Okay. So then you actually have a price that you can pay or want to pay per month, and then you will look to what property you can buy.
Exactly.
And what is your best advice then in what property to buy? Because I know you operate out of throughout the whole Sweden, but if you look to Stockholm, the prices are really high. A lot of people want to live in the city, but what is your advice on that?
Yes, I usually tell everybody that's thinking of buying to have a free consultation with me to start with, because every case is unique. Yes. And it all depends where they want to live, how much are they willing to afford, how much do they afford, and how much do they want their monthly cost to be. Yeah. Now my goal is for them to get a good investment, because I know in Sweden you're not going to stay all your life. Yes. Maybe you can start off by buying something a little bit further away from the city. Okay. But once you have come into the system of the real estate market, and in a few years you get some money back, you can get closer into the city. Yeah. As you said, that the property will only increase in value, of course, and the Swedes tend to buy and sell every third year, I understand from you. Exactly, exactly. So it's very unique. And through this first consultation, we will go through what budget you can have, what are the areas available within this budget, and how much your monthly cost will be. Okay. And then we'll look at the areas, and if the client says, yes, these are the areas I can think of, then of course, like we mentioned before, even just 1 hour away from Stockholm, the transport is really good here in Stockholm. You can get really good prices. Traditional in terms on the real estate agents and how they work, etc. But it's very unique. I understand that you're actually the only one in Sweden that does this BuyerSide consultancy. Yes, Karin, and I can tell you that I've gone against the flow, you can say. Yeah. Because I get a different approach since the real estates work a different way than in other countries. For example, we as traditional agents, you're supposed to be helping both the buyer and the seller. Yes. But between us, really, who's the one that's contracting you is the seller. Yeah. And you want the best for the seller. So you want to get as much money as possible for it. Yes. So the buyer is there in the moment when they're interested just in the property you have for sale. Yeah. But once you're out of the bidding, you're left alone again. Yes. So I feel there's a big gap here. Yeah. And you need someone also to hold you by the hand, the same way that the agent holds by the hand the seller. Yeah. And as I understand, you're in a niche market for you, because you try to help then internationals coming to Sweden, as well as we do with our recruitment processes. So then someone is new here, don't have a network, don't know where to go, what bank to use, etc., etc. So you actually take them by the hand and advise them personally to get their property. I started this service because what you're telling me. Yeah. During my years as a traditional agent, many turned to me because I have Spanish. I come from Colombia, grew up in England. So many turned to me and said, Olga, how do I do it?
Yeah.
How do I start?
Yeah.
And I felt, no, somebody has to help them through this.
Yeah.
So that we can advise them to, so that they can buy before. Some people stay 3 years thinking that maybe they need a tax history to be able to buy.
Or a lot of money in order to get something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason also is I found that they spend so much money every month. Some people are paying maybe 12,000-14,000 in just 1-bedroom apartment in the center of the city. So for me it hurts that they have to spend so much money, and it's money going in the rubbish bin when that money could have been saved in owning your own property.
Spent.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for these insights. If you need a BuyerSide consultant for your property in Sweden, contact Olga.
Thank you, Karin.